Jon Mendez here with another of our little how-tos. Just a little chat about what to do in restricted visibility. And restricted visibility, I can't say that one. Restricted visibility when you've got problems with your nav system and you're not absolutely sure of your position. What do? Well, hopefully we've always got depth. Without depth, we are really quite stuck. But in poor viz, as long as you've got depth, how to find your way home. First thing we really need to know is how's the depth measured on your boat. Now, in normal boating, I like the depth sounder set measuring from the deepest point of the boat so that I know how much water's under the boat. For blind nav, it's really helpful to know how much water there is, including charted depth and tide. So I like to have the sounder reading from the water line, so I know exactly how much water there is. And by that I mean, there's the water and there's our seabed. That's the depth of water, DOW. Now that's made up of a bit of tide and a bit of charted datum and tide. Those two combined give us the depth of water, and that's what we want to know at any particular moment. So imagine I've come into harbour and the fog has descended, my nav kit is playing up, I'm having a really bad day, but I know that I was somewhere along this section of chart here. So when we look closely, there's a 2 metre contour that runs all the way along the edge of the drying bank going to the marina I want. So if I can find that 2 metre contour, knowing how much tide I've got, what little window of tide I'm looking for. So at the current moment, we've got about 1.7 metres of tide, plus a 2 metre contour. So 3.7, if I'm measuring the whole depth of water, is what I'm looking for. Now to try and find 3.7 is pretty hard going. I'm not going to find that spot on. But if I looked for water between 3 and 4.5, I'd be roughly along the edge of that contour. I should pick up the green buoys, and because the green buoys lead all the way to the marina, I should find the marina entrance. Okay, I've done this for real in fog, it really works, but we'll just show you the principle of it. So I need a rough heading, so I'm going into the harbour in that direction. I'll be going north initially, and then I'm going to turn to port and we'll be on something around 3:30, something like that. That will be the two headings I use, and then my key factor will be looking at that depth, keeping it between 3-ish and 4.5. See how we get on. So here you can see I'm well over to the starboard side of the edge of the channel. There's the depth going below what I actually want, so it's only 2.4 metres total water. I'm going to come a little bit back to port, and as the depth increases, hopefully the next green will appear. Can't see it at the moment, obviously, because it's really foggy and we got bad viz. But as I gently bring the depth up, there's the 2.6, we're coming back to our 3. Here comes the depth. That's good. Depth is increasing, which means it goes down on the page. There we go, there's the depth. And there out the corner of your eye comes the next green buoy. And it is exactly within what we said, between the 3 and 4.5 metres. There's just coming up to 4.6. The buoy is right on that contour. So that's giving me a really nice confirmation that my system works. Going to come back over to my shallow side, work my way along to my next green. It's quite a way off for next green, so I'm just going to look for that 3 to 4.5-ish and just motor along. Not fast, 5-6 knots, something like that. And I'm not doing time and all the other things that we can use with blind nav. I'm just using depth because the contour goes exactly where I want. So working my way to starboard to let the depth drop just a fraction. Normally in the summer there'll be 100 boats more on the moorings. I might pick the moorings out. There's the depth coming down to 4 metres. And I just work that depth backwards and forwards. On the compass we can see we're pretty much north, which is what we talked about. So my heading and my depth are doing all the work for me. All that expensive multi-function display you had, really all you need is depth and a compass. Coming up to our course change, and we'll come roughly round to 330. That will take us on the leg as we come around this little bend here, and there's our marina. So we'll just keep going, see what appears. So I'm just coming up towards the last of my greens, and I appreciate that we got a nice sunny day, but purely on depth, I'm still within my corridor. We're 4.5, something of that nature. Every time I go port, I'm making the depth increase. Every time I go starboard, I'm making it decrease. So we're just coming up. I've got a green on the bow of the boat, just about 50 metres away. right in my depth corridor. NC7 is the one that's right on the entrance to the marina. There's my depth, bang on. It works perfectly. Have a go on a bright sunny day and you will realise how much confidence you can have. Now I know even in 50 metres viz I'll be able to pick up the entrance to the marina just off my starboard bow. There's the reds and greens for the marina itself, and in we go. Have a little practice. Go somewhere you know and see if you can do it just on depth, and you'll be amazed how well it works and the confidence it will give you in how to use your equipment very, very simply. Heading, depth, that's all you need.